Hi, and welcome to another episode of Average Glow. My name is Holly. Thank you for joining me today. I have a really exciting topic to talk about today. Today, I am going to talk about how it is easier to live an easy or average life. And what I mean by that is we get really comfortable in our daily lives. We've formed a lifestyle that we're used to. We have some daily good habits. We have some maybe daily habits we need to break. And we just kind of maybe fall into a rut in life and lose that like invigoration and zest for life and take every day as it comes without any real direction or purpose. And this is really easy for us because it's based on the foundation that we've built over however many years of life you've been living. But is it really like helping us get to our full potential? And this is something that weighs heavily on my mind because, I've been really on a journey of up leveling and bettering myself, self growth, self improvement. This is what I promote on this podcast. This is what I've been implementing in my own life. There are days that come with challenges. If I'm being totally transparent and honest, this isn't an easy journey to decide to fully reinvent your life and change it for the better. But we know ultimately, obviously, that it's the best for us. And it feels hard. Like, I literally feel like I'm in school again. I mean, I'm listening to lessons, I'm taking notes, I'm applying it to my real life and taking tests every day, and it's extremely rewarding, of course, but it's been tough. There are days where I just don't feel up to it. And I think it's important to know that that's okay. But I want to discuss how, yes, it's easier to live an average life, but it's so worth it to strive for something bigger, something better, something more that you can achieve. And it all really pays off in the end. And there's definitely days, like I said, that have challenges. I find myself wanting to revert back to old habits. For instance, like some of the habits I'm trying to kick are a really big and easy one is I'm trying not to scroll Instagram and TikTok all the time mindlessly, not letting any negative content kind of permeate my system. And I don't want to soak anything negative in because I think outwardly I just feel positive when I don't. But there's days that I slip past that because we're built off of comfort. And there's, of course, days where I want to disassociate and just numb up my brain and get on Instagram or get on TikTok and just scroll for hours and hours and hours. Of course, I still find myself wanting to do that all the time, but I know better. And I know that when I do that, it kills my creativity, it kills my mood, it kills like my overall vibe. And even knowing that doesn't mean it's not comforting. So it is something kind of easy to slip back into. And it's important to challenge yourself daily, hourly, by the minute to really reach that full potential. Sometimes living that easy life looks a little bit more like we're stuck in survival mode. And what I mean by that is maybe you've experienced some trauma recently, or maybe you've experienced trauma your whole life and that's all you know, that's how you were raised, that's what you're used to. And so we revert back to these kind of comforting habits. Maybe we know they're not the best for us, but they feel safe and they feel comforting, secure, and easy. And I felt so strongly like I was in survival mode after my divorce. I had just quit my job about 6 weeks prior to the separation, as I've mentioned in a previous episode. And honestly, I felt crippled. Like I couldn't even move on in life. I think, if you're listening to this and you're relating to this, you've probably been in the same boat. But there were months that went by where I felt like I was in this survival mode of I don't know what's happening today. I'm just doing my best. Everything I did was met with a I'm just doing my best. That's as good as it's going to get. My parenting style had changed. My work ethic had changed. I couldn't even apply for jobs for a few months, and then when I finally did apply for jobs, it felt so hard and different and scary. And I just almost felt like I was floating through the world without actually being able to grasp anything or get my feet on the ground. I was just surviving. I was just maneuvering life through this trauma. And it's important to recognize it or at least acknowledge, yeah, like, yes, I'm in survival mode and it's totally validated. You're allowed to feel like that for as long as you need. Especially if you really experience excessive trauma, it's okay to feel like that, but what I'm here to help you do is to break out of that cycle. Again, if this is something you've dealt with trauma your whole life and you've just been complacent every day for a really long time, it's important to acknowledge that and then recognize, like, I'm ready to grow. Do I feel like I can get my feet planted? Do I feel like I can move to the next step? And if you feel like you're maybe on the brink of that, I'm just here to like congratulate you and I'm proud of you. I want to help you continue to move forward into what I would say the next phase is maintenance mode. So this is where it doesn't feel like I'm about to lose everything. I don't feel like everything is at risk necessarily, but I'm still like skating on thin ice. I'm still a little scared everything could fall out from under me, but I am walking. I am getting through it. I'm working a little harder. I'm recognizing, hey, maybe this isn't my best. I remember saying that like out loud to myself a lot. There was times where my daughter would act out or she wanted some sugar for breakfast or whatever the case may be. And when I was in survival mode, would go, I'm just doing my best. Like, got to get through the day. Whatever to avoid a fight. I'm just doing my best. But then when I went in maintenance mode, I kind of acknowledged, okay, that wasn't the best decision. I can do better than that. Maybe I could talk her through this tantrum and help explain to her kind of what she's feeling, why she's melting down, and really help her through it. As long as I can have the energy to do that. And maybe this mode is more about like picking your battles, right? Okay, she wants this, fine, but next time I'm going to stand up for myself and I'm going to do this. I can't fight with her constantly. I'm still not feeling strong yet or confident in what I'm doing. For me, it was like, I'm a single mom. I'm just trying to get through these days by myself, being a single parent. And that didn't mean I couldn't give a little though, of course I loved her deeply, so I'm more just acknowledging like where I felt like my weaknesses were. It wasn't like I was giving up on her when I was in survival mode, but I just recognized like I could step up and be a better parent. I can discipline a little bit better. I can explain the situation a little bit better. I can talk her through this rather than like kind of letting her have the meltdown or giving in and giving her what she wants so that she doesn't have the meltdown. But still in this mode, you feel a little uneasy. You maybe still revert to some bad habits, and that's okay. Again, you've dealt with trauma. It's okay to feel that and experience that. The goal is we're trying to get you now from survival mode to maintenance mode to next, what I like to call is self-improvement mode. So your feet are on the ground, you're feeling grounded, you're feeling like yourself again. You're not necessarily looking for challenges, but like if something comes up at work, you're not feeling so bogged down by it. You're like, okay, I can handle this. I've got my confidence back. I'm getting there. We're building, we're growing. And that's a beautiful place to be. Now, some of you may already be in that place, okay? So maybe you aren't dealing with trauma, but you're in a very complacent state of mind where, yeah, you're happy with life. Some things do get you down though, and maybe you feel lonely, maybe you don't feel seen in your current relationship, or you're not sure you're in the right relationship. Maybe you like your job, but you're not really committed to it, you're not passionate about it anymore, and what I want to do with this podcast and what I want to help you with today is I want to help you get to the next mode, which is thriving mode, glowing mode. I want to be like top of the world mode. That is the sweet spot. That's where we want to be. That is where every day we are happy, like so joyous and so proud of ourselves, so excited about the dream life we've built and are currently building. And we're doing better than we have ever imagined in every single facet of our life, where you just feel so challenged daily, but able to face those challenges head on and take them on and grow from it, get better and better and better. And like I said, we're on this up leveling journey together. I want to help you go through the same process that I'm going through even currently. I mean, the thing about this up leveling journey is there kind of is no end game. It's a constant desire for self improvement. And I mean, I'm feeling like the happiest I've ever felt, but I'm like nowhere near where I want to be. I gotta keep going. I have all these goals, all these dreams. I just want to keep living them and seeing them out. And now I'm like learning and getting the tools to get myself there. And that's what I want to help you do. I want you to feel so invigorated by life, and I want you to feel like you have purpose and direction and get your drive back. And so here are some suggestions I want to kind of challenge you with, honestly. I want you to take a really honest look at your own life. See if any of these things either apply to you or strike up another idea that does relate to you more specifically, and something you can really try to reflect on more and be more cognizant of, be more aware of that this is something inside of me, it's something I want to work on, or I could work on, or I see that there is room for improvement. And today I'm feeling up to it. I'm going to work on this today. That's kind of where we want. We don't need to be perfect every single day. We do not even need to be perfect every single hour, every single minute, every single moment. We can easily slip back into our nice, comforting old habits. But when you've made the commitment to yourself, like, I want to change, I want to really see a change in myself, you just need to be more aware of when you do slip into a thought. Do I want to live in this thought, or do I want to hit the reset button and get back into the thriving mode? Okay, so here's some suggestions. Take some notes. I always suggest take notes if you are following along, and let's go. So these are all just different examples. Some of them are going to be tips as well. I just want you to take into consideration and reflect on. So let's start with one of the hardest ones for me is self-discipline. This one I think was the first concept that hit me like straight in the head, where I heard somebody talking about it in a podcast. I had been dealing with some issues of disciplining my daughter, and it made me self-reflect to be like, "Oh, I think I'm having a tough time disciplining her because I don't implement discipline in myself." I allow myself to kind of indulge in food, indulge in spending. I let myself maybe get lazy with going to the gym. There just is part of me that lacks that self discipline. So I've been recognizing, okay, I'm having this kind of hard time with disciplining her. I need to look inward and figure out how to discipline myself. And this is tough as an adult. It's easy to slip into old habits. Like I keep saying, you see the treat on the counter at work and you're like, what's one bite? Or, oh, great, free food. And you just eat it so mindlessly. And you have to really challenge yourself to break these habits and break the cycle of what your comfort zone is. So something else that would be hard but could up level us potentially is self-reflection every single day. It's really important to kind of check in with yourself, get in touch with yourself, get in touch with your emotions. I think a lot of us who have gone through trauma maybe suppress our feelings, and it's really important to look inward and almost mother that little like inner child inside of us and check in. If my daughter is upset, I'm going to ask her, "Hey baby, like what's going on? Why are you upset?" And instead of pushing out those feelings and pushing them away as far as you can, like ask yourself, why am I upset? What is it that's really upsetting me today? Am I actually jealous of this thing? Am I feeling lonely? Am I feeling like my confidence is down today? Am I PMSing? That's always an option out there. I gotta say, don't always lean on that as your excuse, but what is it that's kind of getting me down today? And what is it that I can do to get me out of this mood? Now, in opposition to that, what's making me happy today? I like reflect about it. What really got me excited? I want to write it down. I want to remember this feeling. I want to help myself get back to this place next time I am feeling down. It's really important to reflect on our day. I actually spend every night ending in a self reflection. I do this in prayer. You don't have to. I'm not, trying to tell you what to believe in, but, I just kind of lay there and close my eyes before I get into bed and say, thank you for this day. I had a great time this morning. I was able to get up and make breakfast, and then I went on that beautiful walk and just kind of walk through the day. It shows self-gratitude as well of like, hey, I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing it. I did good today. I filled my cup. I made myself happy. And here I am at the end of the day feeling really happy about it. And that's wonderful. But maybe the next day, this got me down today. I didn't like how this went, but here's the solution to that. I'm going to face it head on tomorrow and do this a little bit differently. And I think that's going to be the ultimate best solution to happiness for all parties involved. Whatever this scenario is, I'm getting off topic here, but you get my point. Just reflect daily. Be grateful for the life you have. Find joy in each day. If you don't have joy that day, reflect on what it is that's making you sad so you can work through it and be better tomorrow or be happier tomorrow. Okay, so next one that's hard. If you are on an up-leveling journey, you need to recognize that there are maybe some relationships or friendships or a job, something maybe toxic in your life, or maybe not toxic, that's kind of a strong word, but something that's bringing you down, something holding you back, I should say, from that new life and that new level you're trying to get to. There isn't going to be maybe an answer of just one thing, but I think when I said that, maybe some of you thought of that one thing immediately. That's probably the big one, and there's a way to start small. There's different kind of like outer circle friendships you can probably kick off the list. For me, I keep a really tight circle of friends anyway, but now that we live in a day and age of social media, we have a very large friend following. But let's say I have 400 friends on Facebook, for instance. I only talk to like 3 people every day. So there's going to be a lot of people out there that aren't really benefiting me. It's not that they're necessarily holding me back, but maybe I'm subconsciously seeing their content and their profile, and it puts me in a mood, or it gets me down, or it reminds me of a time I'm really not proud of. Whatever the case may be, I just suggest like going through and detaching yourself from them. It's easy on Instagram or social media because you can like literally unfollow them and they would never know, and you'll live happily ever after. That's the easy part. You're going to have to dive a little bit deeper and get in the weeds a little bit if you really want to up level in your journey, and it's going to be taking a very honest look of your close friend group and your whoever you're surrounding yourself with daily, maybe coworkers, or maybe it's a job that you're pouring yourself into, let's say 40 hours a week if you're like in a corporate position. Maybe you're pouring yourself even more than that and it's just not where your passion is. We need to start to cut ties with what's holding us back from meeting our full potential. And this is tough, obviously. This could even be family members. I didn't mention that. You may need to cut off family members or, you know, distance yourself, create boundaries, put some walls up around people you just need to be a little bit more careful about. So take a look at your own life, see if there's maybe any relationships or friendships or family that you maybe need to distance yourself from and work towards that. I'm not saying you need to have a conversation with them where you're like, get lost, I'm done with you, we're through here. But, start to, like I said, kind of maybe build some walls up, maybe have some honest conversations where you do set some true boundaries. Um, or, just start distancing yourself. Some people will disappear out of thin air on their own. Some people will fight for you, and you just have to decide, are these people ultimately holding you back, or is this somebody that is meant to be in this next level of your life? The next one is pretty simple, but could still be hard. It just depends on your lifestyle and the habits you've created for yourself. But the next one is just keeping a clean space. So if you always kind of have clutter around or a dirty counter, or I'm trying to think of what my house looks like right now. My daughter's toys are everywhere. If you don't find yourself in a habit of cleaning daily or routinely not getting your house to a place of how it's supposed to look when it is clean, try to build this habit. And, there's different things you can implement just depending on your situation. Like maybe in your closet, you have piles and piles of laundry. You don't have a good system to organize it. Something you've maybe never considered before is a 4-section hamper. Or maybe you let all your clothes build and build onto your chair and everyone has like a laundry chair. I want you to break that cycle and break that habit. It's kind of like a childish one. Like it was a chore, right? They call it a chore to do our laundry, but we're adults now, or maybe if you're listening, you're an adult. It's time to take ownership of our laundry. We are putting it away as soon as it comes out of that dryer. What I do personally is I lay out my clothes on my bed as each load comes out, depending on the colors. I lay it out flat so it doesn't wrinkle and it takes over my entire bed. I put it in a bunch of piles organized by what it is, clothes that go on hangers here, sweats here, pants here, whatever the case may be. And then I'll keep adding to it as I'm done doing each load of laundry. And when I've done, my bed is fully filled with clothes. There is no chance of me just, I'm going to take care of it tomorrow, or shoving it on the floor. I mean, for me personally, putting it on the floor is like unheard of. There's dog hair, there's my hair, there's carpet. I couldn't imagine putting on the floor. And then it's just way too much stuff to put on a chair. I've already put the effort into laying it out, so I'm not going to just shove it somewhere. Take that extra 5 minutes and listen. I know it's easier said than done. I get it. But just take the time and put the clothes away. You feel amazing when you look over at that chair and it's empty. The floor is clean. All your clothes are exactly where they're meant to be, so you know how to find them or where to find them when you're ready for them. And like, we can do this. It's hard, but we can do this, you know? It's just like look at different daily habits in your life like that. Leaving dishes in the sink, for instance, waiting and delaying taking out the trash. Just these daily chores. It makes a huge difference to up-level your life if you have the easy tasks completed. You know, these are essentially easy tasks. Self reflect a little, see where you can improve. It will make a huge difference in just kind of your aura and your overall vibe of each day when you wake up to kind of a well maintained or well kept home. So do yourself a favor and up level in the slightest way possible by taking care of what we used to know as chores and just make it a lifestyle. And my last idea today, before we wrap things up, is my average glow tip of the week. So this is going to feel maybe a little bit more like homework than a real tip, but I have been challenging you this whole episode and I want to continue to challenge you. This is your homework assignment for the week, you guys. We are going to set some goals. Now, this is something I've been really bad at, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. I have not been a goal setting person. People often question, you know, what's your 1 year goal? What's your 5 year goal? And want you to break it down. And I'm just like, I don't know. We'll see where life takes me. Whatever, you know, I've never really had big goals. And I've really challenged myself this year or this past journey to set some actual goals. And I want to help you through it, especially if you're not a huge goal setter. Maybe you are. Maybe these are new tips for you. But what I want you to do is I want you to break down your goal setting ideas into 6 categories. Okay, so write these down. It's home, personal, career, relationships, health, and finances. So that's 6 different goals. Write them down. And I want you to come up with about 2 to 3, maybe 4 goals per category. So what I've found helpful by having the 6 categories is it makes me be more specific. If I'm thinking too generally, I maybe feel overwhelmed and can't think, like whenever someone would say like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Let's say I'm like married with a family on a beach house, let's say, okay? But there's no real timeline for that. And like, how did you get there? And is that even realistic? And is that even what you want? I mean, gosh, I don't know. That sounds great to me now, but I live in Arizona, no beaches nearby, and I'm fine. You know, I'm doing well and happy about it. So within each topic, I want you to come up with 2 to 3 goals. Now, these goals should vary and can go from something you can accomplish this month to something that's so wildly out of sight. But, you know, I want you to be delusional about it, honestly. Dream so, so, so big. I mean, think way outside of the box. Where do you actually really want to be? Like, for instance, starting with home, for example, okay, what's something I can do this month? I want to put up some shelves in my office. Great. That would be a small goal on the spectrum. Now I want to think way wild outside of the box. I want to move from where I'm living and I want to move to an entirely different state, live in a mansion, have a massive pool in my backyard, and host huge parties. Great. Write it down. And then I want you to come up with either like 1 or 2 more goals that kind of fall in the range of that. Okay. And then you're going to go to the next topic. Same thing. 3 to 4 goals. Next topic, 3 to 4 goals. Keep going, keep going. Your brain is maybe gonna freeze and be like, I don't know, I can't think of anything. Move to the next topic. We're gonna come back. Just keep circling back until you have about 3 to 4 like realistic to insanely lofty, extravagant goals. And what this is going to do is it's going to actually open up your mind to the possibility of new opportunities for your life. And it's going to open up your mind to be like, actually, I think this is possible. And you're going to kind of want to work towards it and accomplish those tasks. You know, if you wanted to hang the shelves up, great, hang them up. Maybe that inspires you to pick up a hobby that you want to decorate on the shelves with. And who knows where that could take you, you know? And you make artwork, you sell it, it buys you this brand new mansion in that place you want to live. I mean, the opportunities are just endless. And that's what's so exciting. Like, this does feel like homework, but it's also a way to self reflect and it kind of gets your ideas rolling. And I do challenge you, if you found it fun this time, if you really did take me seriously, I challenge you to doing this every single month. Yeah, when you do this every month, you kind of see yourself start to evolve, start to grow, start to build confidence in that huge goal that you wanted. Having those huge goals maybe make you reflect and be like, actually, I think I'm just unhappy in the current situation I'm living in. Maybe I want to move out of this apartment and buy a house and invest in myself in that way. Or maybe you do want to move to a different state or move maybe to a different city. And that's a pretty big jump, but it's maybe not the biggest jump of living in this mansion, but it is maybe a jump for you and it's a stepping stone to getting to that huge goal if that is what you really want. But like I said, go crazy with it. You want to party on yachts with celebrities. That's what you put in personal or relationships. Cool, go for it. But you got to get yourself into rooms where celebrities are or into that wealth category where you can afford a yacht or be on more yachts. You just have to work towards it and you can totally get there. That's the exciting thing is every month you kind of figure out how can I build and build and build until you get there. So anyway, I hope you really do try to challenge yourself and do your homework. And again, comment, DM me, whatever it is. I really would love your feedback. I want to know what you thought about it. If you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed that time of self-reflection, if there were some other ideas that I mentioned that you're going to start implementing and you're starting to see a change in and you're starting to see, I mean, I want to feel it with you. I want to be on this journey with you. I want to see your growth and feel your improvement. I want to pass along my kind of energy to you through listening to this. And I really just appreciate you tuning in. Please like and subscribe. You know what to do. Comment, share with your friends, share on social media. I would really appreciate the support. We're starting from, building this from the ground up, and any type of support you can show me helps. And I promise to return the favor in tips and advice and empathy and support. And so I love you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.